Good evening, guys. Welcome to David Cow Live. Tonight's show, very interesting topic. We're going to talk about ourselves. We're going to talk about our people, whatever we call ourselves or whoever those are. And we're going to figure out, first we're going to talk. We're going to talk about this money thing and try and figure out, are we getting better at it? Are we getting worse at it? Can we get better at it? Because there's no other way. And then how are we surviving in this time we're in? And yesterday I mentioned, well, we were going to chat about this last night, actually. But which I still have the same problem. My unkept Wi-Fi suddenly decided not to work tonight and yesterday. So I'm going to be on my mobile data again. And so when I mentioned this yesterday, one of our viewers suggested I should have Gerald Mwamdiambira, who I'll ask him exactly how I should say his surname. And equally, another friend of mine, Karawa Mashukhani from 2020 Inside, said I should have Busi Selesho on the show. And I got both of them on the show. Both of them authors and successful authors and speakers in their own capacities, separate. I don't know if they've met, maybe they know of each other, never met. We'll find out. And then, so I wanna put up their books actually, and I'll do that as we get to chatting. Guys, if it's your first time on the show, let me know so we can welcome you. Everybody's welcome. I know we're on Facebook or on YouTube. Please do go to wherever you are watching, YouTube or Facebook, which I'm going to do right now. Copy the link of where you're watching from. So if you go to my YouTube channel, you go to David Cow. If you're watching from YouTube, copy the YouTube link, tweet it, Facebook it, put it on your LinkedIn, wherever it is that you have your other social media. Let everybody know we're here, and we're gonna have this chat, guys. We need to have this chat. So I'm looking forward to it. I don't want to waste much time. Like I said, guys, I'm using my data. Some of you guys would say I'm using my data. I'm very careful about my data because it's very kept and it's very expensive directly from one of these people that we buy the data from, which is where I'm getting it. And if you have questions, and guys, don't embarrass me. We know the usual suspects. We know the locals that are here every night. Guys, behave yourselves. These people are very serious financial advisors. They're speakers. They've written books. Some of you have written some of you have written tweets. These people have written books. So please, guys, let us behave ourselves. And let's figure out this thing, guys, we call money. Because personally, I think we are losing the battle. I don't think we're any better than we were many years ago. Yes, we're probably making more money, but I don't know if we're spending it better. And if you are, let us know, put it in the comments. If you have purchases you've made, you regret, let us know. If you've got good investments you made, also let us know. We're going to share. I'm going to welcome my guests, ladies and gentlemen. And please show them love, show them respect. I can see all of you. I know I haven't said all your names. I'm trying to cut the fluff. I want to jump in the show. So right away, ladies and gentlemen, please welcome House Busi Selesho and Mr. Gerald Mwamdiambira. They've been backstage. How are you?
Hi. Everyone.
That is Gerald, meet out to see, meet that is Gerald. I don't know
Hello,
if
how
we
are
have met
you?
before.
Hey, Gerald. How are you?
Good, thank you. Nice to meet. Online.
Nice meeting, nice meeting you online.
We've never bumped into each other in your line of work.
Nope.
Never, ever.
We've got a bit of a delay from Tate Gerald, but I'm sure that's internet issues, so I don't think there's much we can do about it. But that shouldn't matter. So, Tate Gerald, if I may, or we can say ladies first because August is around the corner.
Yeah, ladies,
Maybe I
ladies
was
month, women's month.
uh, so I was introduced to you online by a friend of mine, Karabo Mashukhani, who runs 2020 Inside. Myself and him try and work together doing a little bit of enterprise supplier development for SMMEs, among the many things that he's doing. And
Yeah.
I said I'm going to have this topic on the show, and he suggested that I should have you on the show. So thank you very much for being available at a very short
Thank you
notice.
so much. Yeah, for
And
inviting me. I'm so excited doing this. I know that, talking about money is always hard, but this is gonna be so much fun.
so, if you don't mind, maybe just 1 or 2 minutes telling us about yourself and selling whatever you're selling, which I believe in. I believe in Black people actually talking about what they do. We know so many of each other. We know a lot of influential people. We drink a lot with people and influential people, and nobody knows who does what. But people of other color walk onto a golf course, walk into a braai. Within 5 minutes, they're already doing business with each other, right?
Yeah.
We are the
Wow.
other one. We go out of our way to even hide how we make money because we think
True story.
other people
True
will steal
story.
from us. But we think equally, then we are stealing away or blocking other opportunities or further opportunities amongst each other from each other. So um, I'm
Yeah.
trying to I'm trying to break that cycle.
Very,
Uh,
very true.
yeah.
Yeah. Thank you so much, David, and thank you, Kara, for joining in on this conversation, a very important conversation. So a little bit about myself. Well, it's what it's a long story, but I always try to keep it short. Um, at one point in my life, while I was really
Adiwa.
making sure and trying to get myself to have the life that we all want, a good life, a life where I don't have to lack. I found myself entering into finding myself in debt of 40 million rand, which is 40. And I had gotten myself doing that because I was told that I needed money to start a business. So I went on and started. At that time, I was on the sixth business, making sure that I go to the bank and I borrow as much as I can because I wanted to make money. And I kept failing one after the other miserably. And I will make money, but then all of a sudden things would just go wrong. Then after that, I then found out that actually money was an energy. It wasn't what I thought it was. It wasn't what I had thought it was something physical that you work hard for and then you use it to buy whatever you need. So I learned that money is energy and you attract money, you allow money into your life. So that changed everything for me because from that point, I started a business that was I used absolutely nothing, and that business became a multi-million rand business. And today it's still standing 15 years later. Now, that is what I have started to do 7 years ago, sharing that information of how I got myself out of that, but also sharing with people that might get into the same trouble or are feeling like, things are not working. I work so hard, but I never see the money. I have so much value in me, but my bank account is always empty. I don't have what I want. So I started and started being a coach. I mean, at that time in South Africa, there wasn't much of this coaching thing. It was very new. I was actually introduced to it by someone who helped me come out of this. And I mean, this happened when I got into this 40 million rand. I got sequestrated, which means that you go into bankruptcy, which means that I lost everything I have. When you go into sequestration, they take everything you own. Either you have paid it off or you are still owing it. Yeah.
40 million.
Yeah, they take everything. And then now I'm married in community of property. So my husband also lost each and everything. And I mean, the guy had a job. He was a proper human being. He wasn't trying to do funny things. One day he woke up and he had nothing. So, I always say, be careful who you marry, because you might get in trouble. And how you marry them is even more important. If you must marry somebody, marry them in a way that protects you. So we found ourselves with nothing. We lost everything. And then after that, I started to understand that it wasn't about just making money by borrowing money and starting a business one after the other. I needed to change something. So I met this lady. She came in. There were so many people that were coming in to fetch this, to take this. And now this lady, she said to me, you need to find a coach. I know somebody. I know a lady who can help you. And I said to her, well, can she help me get out of 40 million rand? She said, well, she's a coach. And then when I went to her, this lady listened to my story. And she looked at me with that face, that, wow, okay, whatever. And she said to me, you need to find your passion. You need to know why you are in this planet. You need to find your purpose. If you found that, you will never lack anything good. But also, when you find those things, it's not because you have a problem with money, you have a problem with the relationship you have with money. And I thought, what? This lady, she's going to tell me that I need to have a relationship with money now? I did not understand what she meant. And I mean, she kept on going on with these things. And finally, I got to, yeah.
Yeah, okay, that's fine, yeah. And then
so
you said
finally I got to understand that there was something really that I was thinking wrong about money. It wasn't because I didn't know how to make it. I was thinking wrongly about it. She gave me a set of exercises. She said, go home and do these mind exercises. They're going to help you change the relationship you have with money. And I thought, really, she's crazy. She's lost it. I went home, but since I didn't have anything to do, so when you're sequestrated, you can't get a job because everybody who's supposed to hire you will check your credit status. So, you can't get a job. I had a degree, an IT degree. It expired on me. So if you are telling your kids to go to school because education is something to fall back on, I promise you mine expired. I could not fall back on it. So I'm not sure what are you saying to them, because the system, when it kicks you out, it will kick you out with that education you have. And we know a lot of people that have so much education and then they, it's also, it works when it works, but when it doesn't, it doesn't. So I could not get a job. I couldn't start anything. I couldn't even get a contract for, by the way, because for 16 years, you can't have any debt. So I went through that 16 years. And in that 16 years, that's when I found out how to buy a car cash. I didn't even know how a title deed look like. Or if you buy a car, you're actually supposed to go to the Department of Transport there at thing and actually register the car because it's your car now. It's not the bank's car. I never knew. I would just go into a dealership and sign papers and think, oh, I have a car now. Or go to the thing and sign the papers and think you have a house. So, and after all of that, I decided to become a coach.
Okay,
I started to be a coach.
Let me bring in Tate Gerald Mwamdiambira. Just your name alone sounds like you have a lot of degrees. Your name sounds like it's on a lot of certificates and it goes in circles. over all the certificates, like Mwamdiambira. And then at the bottom, there's another institution, there's another certificate.
Yeah.
Thank you very much for doing this.
So if my name is a lot of certificates and degrees, when it means you're still in grade 1. Because cow, just 3 letters. You're still a young boy. Okay. So how it works is as you can gather from my surname, I'm a foreigner, or at least foreign to South Africa, originally from Zim. And at a young age, when I grew up, Zim was still doing well, and everything was good until things started falling apart. We started burning white people, and then things didn't work out. I became an economic refugee. And the one thing which helped me was my parents invested in one of the things you should invest in, which is education. Now, education doesn't necessarily mean invest in money to go to an expensive school. It means life, invest in knowing about life. So as an economic refugee, I moved to various countries. I worked in South Africa, worked in the UK, worked in Australia. And through those experiences, as Busi was saying, you start to realize that money has different dimensions and definitions. You know, when you move from one country to the next, they change the currency. So money cannot be the thing that's important. What you then realize is your power and your ability to make money is you. And one of the things my late mother did share to me was that whatever is in your head, no one can take it away. So right now, even if I was to sequestrate Busi again, she'll find a way back because she knows how to do it. And by knowing how to do it, it means that money is a tool. Yeah. And it's a tool that needs to be mastered. So I went through the usual. I worked corporate life. We all love the corporate life. I used to wear suits and ties, and I was a big boss in Joburg. And fortunately, I was a big boss for a company which was in Africa. So every time I'd be in aeroplanes, expensive hotels, Nairobi, Serena, Uganda, I'd be at the Sheraton or the Serena, or sometimes at the Stanley, or sometimes in Zambia, we'll be staying at every hotel in Africa. I know it. But then here's what happens. Yeah. One day, I made that decision, which is a very big financial decision, getting married. And and so if it was a game of chess, it's you get married and then you have a child. Then suddenly everything changes because you come home, you're excited. Sweetie, yesterday I was in Nairobi, I was in Kampala, I was what. Then she says, Todd, I'm tired of you talking about these stupid places in Africa, dark Africa. I want to go there. Then suddenly I had to call the travel agent and find out how much my company had been paying for me to stay in these places, only to realize on one of my trips, my entire salary could not cover it. Yet I was a big boss. So it made me realize one thing, that money, the relationship in the corporate world is that of someone who's making money for someone else. Because for them to pay my entire salary, for me to go somewhere, but not put it in my hands, it means that I am of more value as a slave than ever being freed. So those are some of the lessons you need to start realizing, that money is a tool. Because I could not afford to travel, then I started questioning, okay, so why am I working? I go there and my white colleague can take his wife. White colleague can do it. You try it as a black person, you're fired. Yeah, you will catch you on corporate card fraud or whatever. But umlungu, it's okay. And then you start to realize that there's a lot of things we need to free ourselves from. So the relationship with money you have is historical. It's from your childhood in terms of how our parents taught us what money is, and also our experience. Because if you came from suffering, you in life, you always want extravagance, which is what you're talking about today. You know, that black people, what's wrong with us? It's because we come from suffering. So we want to prove to the whole world we're no longer suffering. But in that process, we're suffering more because we are mortgaging ourselves to the world. Busi mentioned a very important thing, sequestration. That's when you suddenly realize that other people own you.
Yeah.
How can someone stop me from working? It's because the system owns you. So you need to find a way to own yourself. And often the only way to do this is through entrepreneurship. But entrepreneurship is what Busi also touched on. What are you good at? Who are you? You're a comedian. You like to make people laugh. Some people laugh, some people don't. But in a room, most of them are laughing. Even the ones who didn't laugh, they still paid to see you, so you made your money. You know.
Yeah.
So you find your currency. So if you're watching right now, I'm going to ask you, what is your currency? If you had to be sequestrated, if the system had to spit you out and say no more credit, bring back our house, bring back our car, how could you make 10 rand tomorrow? And that's a very difficult question for most people because the system has taught us to be soldiers and slaves. We are cogs in a wheel, but they never let you step. You know, when you look at a clock from inside, you'll just see wheels all around you. Okay?
Yeah.
You're part of the system. But when you are free and the system has spat you out and you fall down, suddenly you look back and you're like, ha, but actually it's a clock more. There's that wheel which works with that wheel. So, okay, I can use that wheel and that wheel. And that's how you start to be yourself. So we need to get our mind currency to understand what is my currency, what's my contribution. And I'm not saying there's not anything wrong with employment, but even in employment, that money you are making, how are you using it to work for you? Are we just keeping on showing off? I drive a big car, I've got a big house. That is not the currency. The system has been built over generations. So even if you look in biblical terms, it says wealth is built over 3 generations. Okay, so wealth is, I shall leave an inheritance for my children's children. So the only time you, David Cow, can start saying you are wealthy is when your grandchild is born and they don't have to work. And the system we're in, their grandchildren are born all the time and they don't have to work because either they used laws or they oppressed others, but they've put themselves into that position. Hence why you find in certain religions or certain cultures is the grandparents who pay for the grandchildren's fees. It gives you a chance, David Cow, to live life and create new capital. So as Black people, what we need to do is to find out how can we free ourselves. And the first way of freeing ourselves is stopping this violence we have against each other of jealousy, of because Busi said she's done this, I must hate her. No, I want to rather learn how she did what she did. So together we can go because you're all stuck in this big clock, you don't realize how big the clock is, which is why travel is very important. When you've traveled the world and you've seen that there's people who are even poorer than you in another country, which you thought was sexy, you'll be like, I'm free. When you go to America, which you watch in TV, and realize, no. The one I see on TV, that's a movie. There's people struggling. You start being able to be in control of your own destiny. So I'm all for us freeing ourselves from being money slaves. I've got 3 books. One of them is this one, which talk about imali, chelet. And it's my main thing is free yourself from mental slavery, as Bob Marley said, and see your own true value and go back to your roots. And there's nothing wrong with your roots being, I like looking after sheep and cattle, and it makes me money. You don't have to wear a suit. You don't need a suit and a tie to validate you, to give you significance. And the problem with most of us is we're waiting for someone to tell us who we are.
So that is right. Let me ask this. So you having come from Zimbabwe, and I'm sure you were educated all over, whether all over the world or between South Africa and Zimbabwe. What did you learn between the habits of Zimbabweans, particularly when it comes to money, and South Africans when it comes to money? Because I believe South Africa has a different relationship. As much as Black people, African Americans, we all seem to have a similar relationship, at least when it comes to consumption, especially, right? All seem to have a lot in common. But I still believe there's extras where South Africans is born when it comes to money and what we do with money or don't do with money, as
Okay.
compared to Africans in the rest of the continent.
Firstly, as Black people globally, we suffer from a colonial mentality, which means that some of us have been brainwashed. So our money habits are founded on trying to be something we're not. So our entire behavior is based on trying to be white. Okay. And in those whiteness pockets of us trying to be white, we hate each other because we were colonized in different ways. Okay. So you said simple example, Zimbabwean versus South African. In Zimbabwe, we grew up in a space where, mortgages and stuff and car loans, very early in the history of Zim, they died. So we believe in ownership. So if you want a house, you buy it. If you want a car, you buy it. There's no bank which is waiting to give you a car.
Yeah.
If you want to marry a girl, you save, you marry her, you provide. Okay? So a woman who's married to that kind of person knows I'm going to be looked after, because if I go to someone's house and take them out, I'm not bringing them to suffer. So hence now that's the ownership mentality, which is good. Okay. Problem
Yeah.
in our ownership mentality is that we then came from an educated system where we are taught to compete. So number one or nothing. Okay. So that's the problem with Zimbabwe. Zimbabweans, if they were to unite, they'd be a very powerful nation. But because of the colonial overhang of I must beat you, we will never be successful, because we find pockets of success as individuals, but not as a clan. Okay. South
Yeah.
African.
So you're only
So
better if you can beat the next best person.
yes, South Africans is slightly different. South Africans are still now even more behind Zimbabweans, because they haven't even figured out that you need to own your own stuff. Because South Africans are still in that mentality of I own it, but actually you don't have title. As Busi says, title deed. If you don't have title to something, you don't own it. I understand. If you don't have a receipt for it, you don't own it. That car you're driving right now, show me the papers. As Busi says, there's a special paper which shows you that you own your car. Very few people in South Africa know what it looks like, because they think they own their cars, but they actually, all those papers, they sit in a vault at a bank. Okay. Same thing with a title deed. Until you've seen it in your hands, you don't know nothing. You're just renting your house for 20 years. And maybe one day you get the title. So South Africans are not yet in the ownership space. They are still in we are owned. They are still very much in that we are told to do, we are told to go, we are told to come. So hence you then get this. That's why you then get xenophobia, which is really Afrophobia around money. Because how come these guys understand how to own things and get things, and Tina we don't know how to? It's because you haven't been taught to, because your system has not made you to learn. Hence, you need to learn how to liberate yourself. Now, if you move further afield, Americans, same thing. They are in between. They are in. They are now also have some blacks who are in the competitive space where we are better than you, and then the others are still also trying to find themselves. So, I'm seeing a comment from Tuto. Ownership is not that important. It's ownership of knowing what you're doing. So ownership is being in control of your decision. It's not necessarily having title. So a car these days, it's cheaper to lease a car and use it like a cell phone because it's a tool. But for someone to get into that mind space, they need to start realizing where everything fits in their own financial. My personal economy can never be the same as yours. My personal economy can never be the same as Busi's. But the three of us, if we sit in one table, I trust and believe that we can find something which can increase all our personal economies. So it's about money is individualism. And also relate to how we as Africans are structured. We come from a commonwealth economic system. How did our Commonwealth work? We had a chief, and the whole village saved together. And when a young man got married, the whole village helped that young man. When he prospered, the whole village prospered. Okay, that's Commonwealth system, and we all lived together. So we were all protected, and we were close to each other. Worked great because we grew our wealth as a nation. The European system is a nuclear wealth system where David Kau runs away from his mother's house as far away as he can, and he starts his own house. Okay. And that's where we face a lot of our challenges right now, in that we've trying to mix who we are with who we are not. That's why Stokvels work so well in townships. People don't understand how come these Stokvels, they do it. These gogos with 200 rand at the end of the year, they buy groceries. How? It's because we are tapping into our nature when we do the Commonwealth financial planning and financial behavior. However, we are tapping into something else when we try and compete and be individuals. So for us to be liberated economically, we need a black bank for a start, where we actually, want to work together to build something bigger. And we can do that in 1 month. If all of us changed our salaries from the white banks to a black bank, there'll be people crying. But the system will always fight it, because the same people who register banks are the same people who control the system. So we need to just liberate ourselves, and we can start it one family at a time or 3 families at a time by simply following each other and supporting each other.
So now, Busi, what did you do different to come back from all the debt, the sequestration, to now buying your car for cash, etc., etc.? What did you do different? So obviously, I'm assuming you started another business. You went into motivational speaking and financial advisory, I would think, or motivational speaking in relation to finance, right? What then did you do different from, because I'm asking because there's been time to afford a certain car, but I'd be advised to not pay off a car for tax purposes, for instance, right? Or I can run it as an expense in my company, which I guess we'll talk about it again later on. So was it the price of the car, or you had decided from now on all my cars I'm paying cash?
Yeah. So, like Gerald has just said, it is the thinking behind everything. So literally, you could wake up and do the same thing as the other person is doing, but when you do not understand the thinking, then everything else is not gonna come out as the next person, while you are both doing the same thing. You can have a job and have financial freedom. You can have a business and be the most broke person. And everybody who says to me, yo, Busi, I hate my job. I want to start a business because I want to have money. I just tell them, you're gonna have a problem. It's gonna be huge. Whatever that you have in your job, when you go to business, it's gonna be 10 times. So you need to get your money correct and mentality correct while you're still in that job, while you're still earning that much little. Because when you transition to the business, whatever problems you have, they are all gonna be times by 10. I mean, I see a person who earns 20,000 comes to me and say, I am in debt, but I want to fix my life. They fix their life. They come out of that job. They go into a business that gives them 120,000 a month, but all of a sudden they can't pay their insurance, can't pay their medical aid, because they don't believe that they can take care of themselves. Now, when they were in Bas John's hands, Bas John will give you the 20,000. All of a sudden, this person takes the 20,000 and pay everything they need to, and they're left with nothing, but they are happy that everything is paid. Now, when they are making 120,000 rand a month, the thing is that David pays 5 rand, Gerald pays 10 rand, and the money comes the whole month, every day. Then all of a sudden they don't have money because the money comes, it doesn't come once. Oh, Busi, I can't handle this. This is too much for me. And they never pay anything. They don't have anything. Every time the money comes, they eat it like peanuts. They chow 120 versus 20,000 better. So it is the thinking. So for me also, I was in that thinking. I just had, like everybody, I mean, when I was young, when I got sequestrated, I was 28 years. So I had started my first business at around about 21. And I was just after the fact that I wanted to buy a car, I wanted to buy a house. That was the thing that I knew was going to show everybody that I've arrived. And every time I failed in a business, I tried to cover it up. I will borrow from John to pay Peter so that nobody sees that, oh, by the way, she's not that businesswoman that she says she is. And the more you borrow from one thing to the next, I always say to people, don't go for consolidation, because that is really borrowing from Peter to pay John, while there's people in the middle that says, I also need your money. So you want to go and negotiate yourself to whoever you owe and pay them, only them, because then your money will actually last if you do it like that. Now,
Yeah.
I changed the mentality of wanting to be something that I was told I should be. But then now, when I said I had to change the relationship I had with money, I had to understand what I had to give to the world. So I didn't even know that I was good at speaking and coaching and all those things. I had no idea. I studied IT because they told me IT will pay good money. And IT was paying good money until I got depressed because I hated it with a passion. And then now after that, I didn't know what to do because I never knew who I am. So when I found out who I was and my calling is to talk to people about money, I was shocked because this thing looked wrong. And before just that, I started a business in health and safety, which is the business that fixed a lot of things for me. That was the business that I did out of compassion. I wanted people to be saved. I mean, I was working with mines at that time, helping people in health and safety. And I only did it because I wanted people to be safe. And the more I did it from that angle, the more money I made. So when I found out that that was a good way for me to make money, there's so many good ways that God gives us to make money, but there's one calling that you are here for. So when I found out that calling a little bit later, 6 years down the line, I was shocked because I was never ready. And when I looked at it, it look okay. It didn't look like a fancy thing. I was just like, oh my God, I'm going to be one of those motivational speakers who are broke. That's all I knew. You know, those people are really broke and they go telling people that they can make money while they are broke. So I was like, oh, hell no, I'm not doing that. I'm not going to be one of those people because I had seen them behind the doors where they were just so broke. I thought my life is not going to be like that. But I didn't understand that they were doing that just to make money. I was going to do this for a different reason, telling people and teaching people about what I've seen, not just telling people you can be okay. Well, I'm not okay. And that's when I went into coaching. I said there was no, so I started in a school in Canada that time. There wasn't a school here in South Africa. And they said there wasn't anybody who was supposed to be a money coach. You're supposed to be a financial coach or whatever. I said, no, I don't want to be financial. Black people don't understand when you say financial. They think something else. I want to say money because it is that problem that we have as Black people. And we understand when you say money. When you say finance, it sounds like something else.
We don't have a finance problem. We have a money problem.
Yes, we don't have a money problem. You have a finance problem when you have money and you want somebody to help you fix your finances. Like, wow, I have the money, come fix it. No, we have a money problem. We don't have money to save. We don't have finances to sort out. We don't have. So I said I wanted to be a money coach, and they were like, "No, man, that we don't have that. You can't be." I said, "You must make a plan." And I had to write a thesis just to prove that I wanted to teach the spirituality of money, not just the technicalities, because anybody can go to the internet and download a how to save a template, a budget, what. Nobody can save money that they don't have the right relationship with. It will always, somebody will die tomorrow while you saved, and you'll have to take all that money and go bury that person and be back to square one. And it will happen over and over. I mean, there's a show in South Africa called I Blew It. Most of the people, when you listen to their story, that one lady said all she wanted was to buy herself a pizza because she had seen people buying themselves pizzas and she never got the chance. All she did with her money was buy a pizza. The rest, she has no idea what happened to it. And then that guy says he bought himself a cap and he gave the rest of the money to his, I don't know, girlfriend or wife. And that's all he ever wanted. So you could win the lotto now. When you don't have a relationship with money, it will all be gone. Even with that, whatever, how much millions you got.
Okay, so let me stick to that a little bit of
investment.
Some of us or have had money. Sometimes you wake up, you are not sure what happened to the money, what you did with this money. even in some cases, you keep making, the more you make, the more you lose, actually, right? I'm going into this relationship with money,
Mm.
um, and how we relate to it. Maybe also, do you respect the money or do you not respect this money? And how do you, what is that state, and how does one get into that state?
So
Is it seeing the money? Is it seeing what you've done with the money? So I'll make a silly example. If I draw cash, I can barely trace it, right?
Mm.
Barely. Um, but obviously, a card or swiping or whatever will always tell me that's where you swipe this there, you swipe that there, you swipe da 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 da. Um,
yeah,
which then begs the question: am I losing
yeah.
this purely because I drew it, or because I took
Yeah.
it?
So David, I'm sure you have seen amatenderpreneurs, labantu laba bemikhaba laba. And normally most of them they have
Right.
itender or maybe they don't have, but I mean we all know their
Mm.
story. I mean,
Mm.
one day the money has come in, the next day Umuntu is back to working from the boot. So
Mm.
normally what happens there is not the fact that this person had money, they don't know what happened to it, is how you got the money. If you go to a job you hate, and at 8 o'clock you get in there, 8:15, you wish it was 4 o'clock. I promise you that money at the end of the month will last you for 2 seconds. You will find yourself in so much debt, you will find yourself so much things. If you make money because you are lying to people that this thing works and they pay you, and then you are happy you're taking the money, you run home, you are going to never see that money. Money we can't finish, David. It's in abundance. Like, hey, nobody wakes up in the morning and say, I have to breathe a little bit because at 5 o'clock I might run out of air. Nobody does that. Nobody wakes up and think, you know what, my neighbors might not have enough air. Let me breathe a little bit so that they can get more. Nobody thinks at 65 I wouldn't have air. Let me save up today. Money is just like that. God gave us in abundance. We cannot finish money. You can. Africa is said to be the richest continent, but everybody that stays in Africa, that is from Africa, is broke almost 99.9%. Not
Yeah,
because there isn't money in Africa. It's just because
yeah,
somebody told us. Just like if somebody can come and say, close your nose and not breathe, you will die while the air is available. But you need to remove that hand from your nose so that you can breathe in and you can be okay. So we think money can run out, but how you make your money is the most important thing. That's where you fix the relationship you have. You must do something you love. And I know this is like, oh my goodness, this is a lot. But if you don't do something you love, if you don't do something that adds value in other people's lives without you feeling like, oh, I'm just doing this for the money. Everybody who wakes up in the morning and do it for the money will not have money. I can bet my life on it. I've done that. I've done that in a job. I've done that in a business. It will finish so fast you wouldn't know what happened. You will wake up in the morning and you'll get into a shop and the money will be gone. You wouldn't know what happened. But if you doing this and you're getting money from something you love, the money will flow. I mean, I wrote a book, Money and Black People, 2 years ago. That book has sold almost 12,000 copies all around the world. I've made more than 3 million rand from that book. I never ever one day saw myself walking out in the street and selling this book because I need to sell 10 books so that I can make money. No, people just keep finding the book and people kept read it and come back and order 20 and keep giving more people, and that book makes money for me without me even trying. Literally, I see money in my bank account and it's like I don't know what happened, like somebody just gave me as a gift. But I wrote that book not to market myself as people write books, not to do any of that. I wrote that book because I knew that me writing that book is so important that somebody else does not have to go through what I went through. So, and people, when they read the book, they actually come back and say, wow, I just got saved from this and that. So where you make the money matters the most. If you make the money from a tender, it will be gone. I promise you, it will go, and you will come back and sit next to us. If you
But there's people that they are good at tendering, right? They are, it's
yeah,
almost a skill now.
you are good.
Yeah,
So
it's almost
if you
a skill now in South Africa to
Mhm.
tender and get the job and do the job, right?
the
There has to
job,
be some-
if you are tendering at as David Kao to do comedies all over the country, you are good at comedies. You do comedies without thinking. Then you must tender for comedies. Now, if you tender for catering, trouble is gonna happen.
So I
because
think I think you know you need to take money also to that spiritual level. It's about who you are, and I had to find myself also like Busi by accident in terms of who I am. If I look down my family tree, my relatives, they are teachers and they are pastors. And Mina, I decided, no, I'm going to do architecture. And then at some point now, I was doing relationship management for a bank. And then I lost my job. And at that point, I was now in that space of what are you good at? What will someone pay you to do? And I realized I'm only good at talking, sharing ideas. That's what pastors and teachers do. They're sharing and teaching. Okay. So I now then tapped into my natural family gift. So you need to, when they talk ancestors and understand your lineage, genealogy, understand who you are. If your family is a family of agriculture people, trust me, plant one flower, you won't understand how money will fly at you because you are tapping into who you are. If you're in IT and your natural gift is to rear cattle, until you do a computer game which involves cattle, you're finished. You will work until you're tired. So you need, each and every one of us has got that natural ability to tap into who they are. Secondly, you are complete as you are. Problem with us and with the tenderpreneur is that when they receive the money, they don't have enough. The majority of businesses in America are small businesses. They earn the same salary, if not less, than someone who's employed by someone else. But the difference between the person who's self-employed is not how much they earn, but being in control of their own destiny and each day. Problem in South Africa we have is we've associated entrepreneurship with wealth and abundance. No, you can be an entrepreneur who makes 10,000 Rand a month, even 5,000, but you're in control of your life. You're in control of what you save, what you put money into, invest out. Complete yourself first before you even start thinking of entrepreneurship. How much is enough for you? And when you came up with that number of enoughness, were you looking at someone else? If you were, start again, because enough is you. So first establish how much you need to be complete. And your completeness is not defined by your environment. That's the problem. Most of us are caught up in being defined by our environment. Therefore, if I was to get an opportunity to be an entrepreneur where I can make 5,000 a month, it's not enough because my environment says it's not enough. Okay. Once Busi was enough with herself, she could go and say, people take me. And her book was her. So hence it keeps selling because it's her. She gets up. You're in your wealth zone when you're happy to do what you are doing for free. Are you understanding? Because it's who you are. So it takes years for you to build something which then generates that income. Because the main thing you're living is to generate income, not turnover.
Yeah, anytime.
So problem is focus on the I word, which is income or annuity flows, if you want to be technical. Don't focus on turnover and the big number which comes in. So what I'm saying is find out who you are first, find out where your income spot is, and forgive yourself for being yourself. Forgive yourself for not having a BMW. Forgive yourself for not conforming to what the world says you must conform to. Be enough with yourself. I have been building my name and my reputation for years. Oh, I remember I lost my job. So now I was asked, what can you do? Now I did what black people do when they lose job. You go to church, Baba. Pray, Baba. Hey. Hey. When you don't have money, you go and you pray because you suddenly want somebody to help God is something.
Yeah, so please, Gerald, talk more about that fact that all broke people just want to pray. Why is that? The ones with money don't pray.
It's because when you're in that situation, you don't have a plan. So now you're expecting divine intervention to make a plan for you. No, a plan will always come from inside you, going out, not the other way. We're at church, and I bumped into a lady who said, you speak very good English. I'm a Zimbabwean foreigner. So, yeah, you speak good English. Can you write? I was like, of course I can write. I did English, A level, essays. So she's like, okay. And you seem to know a bit about money. I need you studied about money. And I said, yes. She says, can you write about money? And that's how I started my journey again. Because in church, they were telling me I've got $1 billion anointing. Oh, God. It could be billion. It's not yet here. So problem is, I was thinking like a tenderpreneur. You understand? Where you have nothing. And you'll wake up in the morning, but you want to make R1 billion. How? Because until you realize that R1 billion starts with R1, you're not going to get R1 billion. Because that's the tenderpreneur attitude which Busi is talking about. Because you didn't understand how you built it, it disappears like poof. So until some other man came to me and said, dude, stop dreaming of wanting R1 billion. Can you at least show me? He asked me, he was mentoring me, he said, can you show me that you can make R1,000 in a week? Stop giving me these billions and writing proposals for R1 billion when you don't have petrol in your car. Can you please show me you can make R1,000? And that's when I started pandering. And the first gig I got was writing. I was paid R1 per word, and it was by a magazine. And they said, write. And I started doing the money column. It was Movement.
Yeah.
And I was writing every week. Then from Move, I was upgraded and I started writing for Drum. And then suddenly one day I woke up and I've got all these articles, hundreds and hundreds of them. And someone said, why don't you do a book? Then I did a book. And then from there, other Lungu will come to you and say, hey, when we see you everywhere writing stuff, do you want to run a business about money? So the opportunities start finding you, okay? Some of them didn't work out, but the bottom line is what I'm saying is find yourself first, okay? So now I'm in that space where I am ready to take on the world to say, okay, I have been saying to myself, how come South Africa doesn't see me? If you go on that website, you suddenly see this guy, I know him all the time, but how come I'm not where I should be? I'm not like Busi who can talk about millions. I haven't done it. But in terms of the work I've built, I should have. Then I realized my calling is not South Africa. I understanding I've been called to talk in other countries and paid in hard currency. But here in Mzansi, even David Kau has to call me on Facebook and he's not even paying me. I understand it. He's not paying
You're
me.
not from this side.
He never asked me to send an invoice. He never asked for bank details. Just appear. As though this data is just appearing from above and just working.
Yeah. No, it's not this kind.
So unfortunately, especially in our space where I don't motivate people. I just tell my story and share a testimony, and I've got tools to help people. Unfortunately, that talent is not recognized in South Africa. It's not. Hence, even the so-called motivational speakers, Mzansi, he does not make his money in South Africa. He comes here to show off. He makes his money outside. You understand? So I've had to now realize that I need to also go outside. So I'm going global. So David Cow, yes, even 70 rand, you must just pay e-wallet nyana, you know, one gig or something of data. But I
pay 70 rand.
yes, but I think it's important because we need to start realizing that we have that importance. Because David, we're joking about it, but that's how you should also establish yourself. Because even if Busi and Dave and Gerald say they're coming onto your show, say, you know what, I'll pay you 100 rand. Because we need to get into the habit of paying and receiving and valuing. And then we now get into a value system of exchange. So if
while you're talking about that, I mean, one of the things that I learned while I was learning about this money, energy, and spirituality of it is that mawuya sangomeni, you do not enter isangoma uthole help without ukuvula umlomo. You must have imvula mlomo. So imvula mlomo kungaba noma ngayini, but you must go in with a gift, and now isangoma will be able to give you something back that is valuable only if you have given to access that power. So there are so many spiritual things that we do not go with because we were told they are not good enough. I mean, one of the things that I do religiously is that every time when I get paid, I've got a umsamo. Umsamo is what we call in English, what do we call it? But it's my altar, it's my praying place where I put that money there, and I don't use my money until it has slept in my house. One day at least. So this thing of getting paid today and the debit orders are collecting everything the next moment, it's so wrong. You should never spend your money until it has slept with you. It could sleep in your bank account. You can probably print the statement and put it in a place, in a sacred place where you do your spiritual things in your house, because that is so important for you to honor the gift that God gave you, because you cannot make the money without having your ancestors, your God allowing you to do this thing. Every time when I speak, people say, "You're speaking to me," and I wasn't speaking to them, but it's God their God is speaking to them through me. So I need to honor the fact that God gave me this gift, and this gift is making a way for other people. So I don't take the money and go chow it the next morning. But when you're in a tender, you just want to buy everything because wow, I don't care. You know, that is why I know. I make this tender example. It's like I'm picking on these people, but they don't understand money.
It's because that which you do not value cannot give you a return. When you put in money, it's like a seed. Are you understanding? A seed and a dead person. David, where do they go? Where do you put a seed?
In the ground, in the soil.
And it's dark. And a dead person is also in the ground and it's dark. Okay?
Yeah.
The difference is that the seed will grow out and come back in the light and have roots in the dark. But when you are a seed, sometimes you think you're a dead person because you don't identify your potential. You understand? Because you know, I can make people laugh even in the dark, in the underground. You'll be making them laugh, and the roots will be laughing. But the thing about it is, we need to identify that what that you don't value cannot respect you back. Money will not give you back money until the day you respect it. And as Busi said, whether it's a tithe, whether it's an offering, you need to respect money for money to start respecting you. Money, as much as it's a tool that needs to be used with respect. You know, someone was asking a question about where do I invest money? I cannot tell you where to invest money. Invest money where you know you can understand what money is doing. We all grew up with our gogo and our mama with chickens. Me, I know a chicken economy very much. You put one chicken plus one chicken, they do something, and then tomorrow you have 6 little chickens. Then in about 6 months, you've got 20 chickens, and they multiply. And that's simply how investments work. But the problem is you want a white guy to come and say, David, I can invest your money offshore in fully fungible offshore investments in Jersey, tax-free exemptions, and I can ensure that your money will grow and accumulate over time. Now, I have this 400-page document with small print. If you sign here, I will be your wealth manager, and I'm going to look after your money, and you can sit at home and enjoy it. Yeah?
Oh,
And
you got the right English.
you like that? I'm just the wrong color. If I was the right color, all of you would be signing
You
right
have
now.
the right English. Yeah, you're missing the color. Definitely, the English is perfect.
But did you understand what I said? No.
No, the English was
no.
good.
But the thing, that's what I'm saying. Don't ask me where to invest your money. Understand where you are investing your money. If you buy 2 pigs, you know they're going to multiply. Keep the pigsty clean. Let them be fed. There. I know people in Limpopo, they do goats. They know that there's because the broke people are always doing umsebenzi. The goats will always sell because they're always trying to talk to an ancestor to give them an answer to a problem which they can solve themselves. And that problem solving can only start by starting to understand what you are good at. Your natural ancestral calling and gift for David Cow is to make people laugh. And even in the Bible, in the king's court, there was the jester who made the king into a good mood. And that guy was not a small boy. So
yeah,
only the world which has made comedians feel like they are small. They're not. Look at Trevor Noah. He came from here and he just went and he's now not a small boy. We're all watching him on YouTube. You must realize your gift is in you, one.
Yeah.
When you put in money, when I ask you, what do you want to invest in? Understand the word investment. Investment means you take something, you put it in.
Yeah.
And then when you put in, you give it a vesting period, time to grow. Which means that when you are looking to make money, there has to be time. It's called the time value of money if you want to go technical. And then after you vest it, you get a return. It comes back to you more than what you put. It's even the talents. So I can't tell you where to put your money. You know what your gut feeling, you know where you want to put your money. If you want to go into the stock exchange and you can't tell me what a PE ratio is, or you can't tell me what a dividend yield is, or you can't read a balance sheet, how are you putting money in a share? How?
Yeah.
Tell me. You want Gerald to read the balance sheet and the earnings statement for that company and then give you more money than you? Never.
I've got so many people that come to me and say, now I've got, a person will come, they've got so much debt, they don't have money at the end of the month. And then we start working on them, we're clearing this energy, they start having money. And then a person has 30,000 rand. Now they are panicking. Oh no, Busi, I don't know what to do with this 30,000. Where can I invest it? They are itching to give it to some guy who's going to put it somewhere for them to not touch it. Because why? I can't handle the 30,000. I'm going to finish it. I can't stay with it. People are so scared of their own money that they work so hard for that they want to chase it away all the time. A person gets an extra whatever salary because they change jobs. All of a sudden, they are so finding something to do with this money. The money doesn't stay. They literally look at money and say, can you get out of my house? So even these things of I want to invest, it's not true. It's not that you want to invest, it's because you want to chase the money away. I mean, the number one investment that I've ever made in my life is to invest in myself, in my skills. I mean, there was a time where I wasn't even sure that I can do public speaking. I went to a Toastmaster and I paid maybe 300 rand to learn how to speak better so that I can stand on stage and give people good stuff. That was the best investment I've done. All the investment, like going and studying coaching, it didn't take an arm and a leg, but it was the best investment versus me putting my money in some hands of some guy who's going to make it grow for me. Grow how when I am not growing? You cannot have money grow when you're not growing. Your money grows when you grow because you can make more.
And I agree so much with Busi because I know where I'm going now because I'm now finally understanding my calling and my destiny. This thing says ad majorem Dei gloriam. I understanding. Mina, I studied Latin. I didn't, it's for the glory of God. That's what this thing is saying. But understand why you're doing what you're doing. Busi invested in a public speaking course. Not all of us can be motivators and coaches and stuff like that. It's a gift. It's a calling. But all we're saying is, if you're so itching to invest, have you got a garden? Look at the back. Go dig that. Go dig that garden. Plant some seeds. Grow vegetables. Or if you really want to be fancy, do a small greenhouse. Because we all grew up. I used to go in the garden when I was sent to go and water the plants. I knew standing there watering plants. They grew and we knew how it worked. No problem. Buy chicken. Build a chicken run. What I'm saying is go back to the economy we understand as Africans. Stop this thing of you want to be forexing and bitcoining. Are you understanding? You don't even understand the thing yourself. You don't know where the server is, which is sending the information. I understand it. If I really wanted to be a Tsotsi, I could write a proposal and all of you will subscribe. Some of you are saying, go deeper, Papa Gerald. I'll preach. You will find. But it's not my calling to steal your money. But my calling is rather pay to hear me talk about money, and then we are square. But if I was to be stealing your money, I know that's how they do it. They. Who is they? They is everyone who has ever tried to deceive you about money. They is everyone who told you never amount to anything. They is everyone who controls you from 8 to 5. They is everybody who tells you you are valued by a salary.
Gerald, can you talk about WhatsApp Stokvel and how that one is really, really going to take us to the dustbins?
Okay. So before we go to the WhatsApp Stokvel, first of all, I know we're going to have this chat again, but there I will have to pay you. Even if it's data or your airtime or your uncapped data, no doubt, I will not call you again unless I am ready with that commitment. Secondly, I know I keep skipping or dismissing it, but black text keeps coming up or slipping every now and then, right? And I don't want people to think I'm brushing it off, but I want to put it in particular and respect to your money leaving, right? Because the money did not only leave us because some guy saying invest in this thing, let me hold your portfolio, send the money to me, I will invest it. But when your money comes in the bank, there's someone or a family or somebody that's already waiting, and their next meal or their next bus ticket or their next whatever has been waited for from the money that's supposed to be coming into your account.
Okay, what I'm going to do about black tax is I'm going to make it very quick. Remember I spoke that we're Africans and we come from a Commonwealth economy.
Yeah.
As Africans, we were designed to live together and to share all we have. By breaking free and going for the nuclear economic setup, we've broken who we are. Yeah. All the people who are writing here about look at the Jews, look at the Indians, they are still in their Commonwealth economy.
Yeah.
Why is it that the Jews, the Indians, they have their own suburbs where they stay together? They are maintaining their Commonwealth. Okay? So our problem is that we are trying to live in a system we don't understand. If you really want your family to become wealthy again, all of you go buy houses in the same street or start living together in the same house, share the same meals, save together, build wealth together. Then you start releasing each other. And when you release each other, you go and plant a seed and they all congregate there. It is not by accident they are Jewish suburbs. It is not by accident they are Indian suburbs. It's because they are maintaining that money can only be built through a commonwealth. A bank is just a super stokvel, which is owned by someone else. So if you really want to start understanding the money dynamics of your family, as hard and it is difficult as it is, David, go call your brothers, your sisters, guys, let's stay in the same suburb. Childcare becomes easier. it becomes easier for you to communicate. You can start spending money in each other's businesses and growing your economy. Tina, our problem, we call it black tax because it's Mulungu who designed it. Black tax, how can it be black? Black is, are you talking black as in racism or black as in evil, black magic or black ritual or black Monday or black bad thing? It's them who told you it's called black tax. It's not. For me, it's Ubuntu. It's Ubuntu. These people are not expecting your salary. They are your blood. They are your family. Their prayers. It's their prayers when they see David on TV and they say, "That's my uncle," and they are blessing you. It's that's giving you the good luck to get the next contract. And the next time that guy says, "I need 100 rand," you look at him and say, "I'm fit." You're right.
So
I think that
the
sorry,
problem.
Busi, I just wanted to say to Gerald, I mean, I think the one thing that he said is, why must it be looked at as tax? Why must it be looked at as a bad thing? You know?
And I think the word tax comes in when it's abusive and toxic, which a lot of people are going through that. I mean, Commonwealth, Gerald, is what I mean. You wouldn't go on the street and do funny things. The neighbor, the low mama or neighbor will beat you up nicely, and you will go home and never even tell your mom. That was the Commonwealth that we used to live. But now we having, it's called black tax now because it's toxic. And what is that? Now, that is when you have people who think that they're entitled to stuff. But not just that, there is also people who think that they owe somebody something. So I did that when I grew up without parents, and my sister and my brother made sure that I go to school, and I finished school. And the day I got my first job, I went to Edgar's and Sales House at that time. And I took everything there. I filled it in a big bag and I took it home because I felt that I owed them. I felt guilty for the fact that they took care of me and I didn't have parents. And today I didn't even have money because I went to buy in credit, but I bought them everything. So now I started to buy their love. So a lot of people do it in that toxic way where you buy people's love, where you give them because if you don't give them, they will look wrong towards you. You give them something you don't even have. I mean, there's so many people that come to me and say, my uncle is getting married. My mother say I should go and do a loan of 15,000 so that she can go and shine at my uncle's wedding. Hi, Bo. So who's gonna pay the 15,000? I have to pay the 50,000. My mother wants it because my uncle is getting. Wow. So now she's gonna have a 15,000 rand debt that she had no business getting into. But I can't say no to my mother because she told everyone that my daughter has money. She told everybody, my daughter now works there. My daughter is gonna fix everything here. You shall see my daughter. So when it's toxic like that, it's no longer benefiting nobody and it's wrong. So I normally say to people, if it's giving your family and helping people and not trying to fix people, you are doing a good thing and you shall get your reward. But once it's toxic, you need to know when it's toxic and be able to know how self-love works. Self-love says take care of yourself first before you can take care of everybody else. I mean, you could do husband and children. If you're taking care of the husband and the kids and leaving there's gonna be a problem. You need to take care of you so that the family can be happy. So it's black tax when it's toxic. When it's not toxic, it's good. Now, I normally say to a person who has a toxic relationship with that type of people to say that if a person comes to you and say, hey, I'm dying tomorrow, give me money, tell that person that I hope you know Jesus because you better die because I don't have money to throw around like that. You better know Jesus because you're gonna die. But what is gonna happen is this person is going to find the money because you didn't give it to them. They're going to go and make a plan, and normally that plan is them learning how to get the money. Now, if you really want to help them, you rather show them how to get the fish than give them the fish. I mean, I've seen so many people that say, my sister's boy came and I paid for him IT. He never finished the IT. I paid engineering. He never finished the engineering. I paid DJing. He never finished the DJing. Now he's still at home and I so many debts and I was paying for him. And what's wrong with this child? I was trying to give him a future. And this child said, you know what, until now I only wanted Amateki. That's all. I just wanted Amateki. And when you kept taking me to engineering and taking me to IT and all this. So if you actually sat down with the person and found out what is it that they really need help with, you would have never put yourself in those. And those people, because they entered this relationship of giving family money in a toxic way, they are then the people who are entitled. They're like, yeah, I made you. I made you. You should come and say thank you. Oh, you see all of them. I'm so broke. I never had things. And they didn't even come to say thank you. Oh, really? A person who's giving will never want people to come and say thank you to them if they were really giving. Because when you give, when you find a person on the street, you give them R5. You never come back next week and ask them for their bank statement. Let me see what the R5 did for you. No, you don't. You give them and you hope that they do something that helps them with, but it is good. So when it's toxic, you're going to have a problem. Do not do it. If a person comes to you and say they want money and you can see that this is going to be a toxic thing, you let them know that you do not have the money for that thing they want. You have money to do the things. You could take that money and pay your car off quicker. You could take that money and invest in learning something that is going to change your life, so that you have even more money to give to other people. But when you sacrifice yourself for them because you need their approval, you need their love, you need their this and this, you're going to have a problem. You're going to be bitter and bitter and bitter. And every day you're going to see people as you're going to feel as you were robbed by them. So you are good telling a person, I don't have the money. And that person will come tomorrow and say to you, you know what, I found it somewhere else. And you would have actually helped them.
I want to throw
a quick one. Sorry, just to add, just last point on that point. I think it's very important to realize that the manipulative relationship with money also often starts with you, because the day you got your first salary, you went and advertised the entire neighborhood you're earning 50,000 a month. So everybody started making a budget. Where now, when you went and told them your salary, what were you really trying to do? And if you were trying to create a manipulative relationship where they must start respecting you for how much you're earning. So why are you now angry when they come and ask for some of that money you told them you have? Secondly, you must realize that you need to empower each other as families. We have a money problem, as Busi said. Have money conversations as families. Start going back into ancestral lines and giftings as a family. So we always try and say, but in my family, there was no one who was an IT engineer. How do we know this is not our gift? No, all careers can be traced. There's advocates who are lawyers. So go back and say, in Shaka Zulu's court, in our Commonwealth, what was our family responsible for? Were we the farmers? Were we the soldiers? Soldiers, security, go try a security company. I'm sure it will work out. We were farmers. Try something in agriculture. Trace and understand who you are as a family. And yes, once you might use money to manipulate someone else, they will manipulate you back, or the system will manipulate you. The reason why you are struggling at work, working for Abe Lungu for 50 years and have nothing to show, is because when the Lungu gives you that 10 rand, you go and manipulate your own family. So it's revenge. It's revenge. The system is revenging you. Revenging.
You know,
it's called, they call it karma. You reap what you sow. It's revenge. Because when you don't respect the 10 rand you get from Umulungu, you go and abuse someone who has less than 10 rand. Revenge.
You spoke, Gerald, you spoke about at some stage you got married and how you thought of your finances started changing. And Busi, you spoke about you were married, you went into sequestration, that took your husband with you. Now you were jointly bankrupt and blah, 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 blah. So now my question is, how different is the relationship with you and your partner or your husband, wife, and then I'll also then get someone on the show who is single and is doing well and they're making money. And then I'll also ask them because sometimes we talk about relationships, and then some of them, what will seep out may be that this person is a bit too successful or has become so successful. Men are suddenly now becoming hard to either keep or to even approach, purely because of their success, right? So I want us to talk about then how has you being married, both of you being married, changed your relationship with money, number one. I don't know, does your wife tell you what to do? Does your husband know all the money you've made? Do you decide if I make the money, I call the shots? And then I want us to then maybe chat to one or two other people that are not yet married, but they're making good money. The money is not necessarily um, a problem, but then how do they maintain then once they get into relationships? The same way you spoke about black tech. Do you now say to this new boyfriend, I love you and everything, but that's my car. Don't take it and go play with it. Or this is transport, this is for all of us. You can drive and go wherever you want. Since you don't have a car. Whatever. But I'd love to know, how do we then bring it into family? Personally, I would say I started handling my finances better when I had a wife or when once I was married and I started having kids. I found more value in money than I did when I didn't have a wife or children for that matter. It went with those levels of I used to do this with money. Then I got married, and then I was doing that. Then I had kids. Then I realized, hey, I can't keep doing that anymore. I need to change. How do we then tell the viewers, the people that are watching,
Mm.
um,
Yeah.
what
So
what are they looking at?
So I messed up, like I told you earlier, that I went in and I was all about, hey, let me do something, and then all of a sudden this thing is the one that killed the family. And that happens a lot, like you're saying that if when you got married, things changed. They definitely changed. And but also, I mean, I'm a money coach on a daily basis. I'm helping people. Most, and when I say most, I mean 70% of marriages that go to divorce is because of money. And people are divorcing because when we got together, we loved each other. And all of a sudden, when we are in the marriage, love is like 10%. Everything else is how do we get our lives sorted out. And all of a sudden, the other person, their mom told them, you save everything. The other person, their father told them, you buy whatever you wish. So all of a sudden, I am coming with my own money story, and the other person is coming with their own money story. And if we are not at that point wanting to match them, it's a problem. Then people are not going to be having a good relationship after that. But then one thing that I have noticed, now I'm talking for single people, is that a lot of single people, they do well when they are women. They do well before marriage, and once they're in marriage, they have less money. So guys, when they are single, they are broke and almost having nothing. And once they get married, they finally have money. So that is something that in the past 7 years I have seen through my clients' lives. I mean, I wrote about it in my book, Money and Black People. So guys, if you need my book, I wrote Money and Black People. So I've got a chapter there that talks about women and money, men and money, and then that talks about money in relationships. And it's because a lot of time when I was starting out, I had so many people that came as families. to come through and solve their problems, because they were losing their marriages because of these money struggles. Now, when I'm saying women, when they're single, they do better, is because women have something we call feminine energy. And feminine energy is a creating energy, is a multiplying energy. When a woman is not married, they normally are able to have that feminine energy, because that feminine energy is the energy that attracts a guy or a masculine energy. So they actually, single women look better than married women most times. People get married and all of a sudden, yay, things go wrong. So when you are single, you have that feminine energy, you're taking care of it. Normally, that also takes care of your money. So I've got a YouTube channel where I've loaded a lot of these videos about feminine energy. So if somebody wants to learn more about it, just go to my YouTube channel. It's Busi Selesho. There's so much that I'm talking about on that feminine energy. But that feminine energy is the creation power, is the multiplication, is that thing when a single guy marries you and gives you a little bit of money, you take that money and you multiply it, and all of a sudden we have money in this house, and all of a sudden this guy is respected because manje so nemali, at least so na a better car, at least so move from a one bedroom in Mamelodi now in a better house. That is what feminine energy does. So now, once women are married, they normally lose that because they then try to fix the guy. They work on this guy. They like, you shall be better. Then they forget about themselves and then they lose it. Hence, they have less money, married women. Now, married men then now have the chance finally to have somebody sort of supporting their masculinity because masculine energy is all about making things happen. So when a guy has their masculine in the right place, they make things happen. They're not looking for a woman where they say, hey, 50-50, what are you bringing to the table? And I always say to the ladies, if a person ever asks you what you're bringing to the table, tell him you bring the table and himself. He can never ask you what you're bringing to the table. Anybody who asks you to bring to the table, he's got a problem. So if he understands why he's marrying a woman, he knows that he's marrying her not just for love, but for the fact that that woman brings in the power for him to make wealth. So if he doesn't use that power, then he's got a problem. If he still thinks that the power is that power is going to come in another different way, then it's a problem. So when we go back again to understanding these technicalities of our spirituality and where we come from, our relationships will work better, because you will enter a relationship and you wouldn't want to make money from a relationship. Oh, I'm here. Do you drive a car or do you have this? You will understand that you are here to make this man get the money, and you will do all the things that you're supposed to do to make him to find the money. And also, if you're a guy and you're looking for a person that just has good makeup and stuff, and like maybe that has done enough squats, then you are in trouble, because then you will never understand the power of what you've just put into your life. So there is a lot of value in being in a relationship. You don't even have to be married, but the fact that you have somebody who's bringing a certain type of energy and you bringing a certain type of energy, when you understand how those energies work, you will make way more. The Bible says 2 is better than 1. Well, also the Bible says men should not be alone. For the sake of that, they shouldn't be broke. Actually, the scripture was saying we're supposed to just say that men are not supposed to be alone because they'll be broke. But it didn't say it like that. But a woman can be alone and do very, very well. But a guy, that's why behind every successful man, it's a woman. That is how God did it. God had to go and make a whole human being and energy to support this masculinity. God created the world on a weight. God did not come out with a mafosholo and a pig to make the world happen. God said, let there be. So when you have enough feminine energy, you are going to say, let there be in this man's life. There's no man who ever wants to change the car or wants to buy a bigger house. All men think 1 bedroom is fine. Until a woman says, "Hi, man, I saw this They have, the 3 bedrooms are better. But this man is never going to get the house because he thinks it's a better house. It's a 3 bedroom. He's going to get it for the sake of the woman to be happy. So women, if you don't understand your feminine energy, you are not doing the Lord's work, because you are letting everybody down. If a woman starts a business, that business it helps more people in the community. Businesses that are started by women, I said that they last longer, they make more profit because of that feminine power and multiplication. When you don't sit down and work on that, you miss out.
I think, that is powerful. The topic of money, will never cover it in one night, because money is firstly about the individual, and then as an individual you look at your immediate family, and then exactly as Busi says, you go into relationships. Now, if I look and talk about marriage, the woman is a womb man. Okay, that's the difference between me and a woman. A woman has a womb. What do you do when a woman and a man come together and now you're married? Is you plant a seed into that womb, and the womb is a multiplier. Okay, so the one sperm I put in that womb becomes a child, because women have, as Busi said, the power of multiplication. Okay, so every woman has the power to multiply a man's worth, because you need to find unity in your finances and your goals and your dreams with your partner. And that way, you can actually start to enjoy the benefit of using your man's womb, to multiply your fortunes. Hence, your wife needs to be in your plans. She doesn't necessarily need to be involved. If she's involved, it's even better, because a wife who's a cheerleader and helping you to lead your business can do something that's sustainable. As Busi said, women run businesses better. They just know how to multiply better. But the opposite of multiplication is division. Because the same way a womb can multiply, it can divide. So if you go and you get yourself a slay queen who only knows how to take and spend and consume, instead of buying a multiplier, you're buying a divider. You are going to be broker than you were before, because that slay is going to make you buy hair, nails, lashes, everything, and it will be divided. She doesn't even want you to buy your own house. She wants you to go and pay for a hotel, someone else's house, because you've gone and married into the spirit of a divider, the slay mentality. Those are not good women. Get yourself a womb man who has a spirit of multiplication, who is going to sit down with you, and you plant a seed into that womb, she'll multiply. If you are successful with 10 rand, your wife will multiply it and make it 100 rand. If you get 1,000,000, she'll make it 100 million. Hence why the very successful men, when they have divorce settlements, they are not small. They are because they had powerful wombs helping them multiply, giving them ideas, giving them affirmation, giving them children, your greatest gift. And that's a whole different conversation there around money. Problem is, the man of today, he likes what he sees on Facebook. He likes what he sees on Insta. He doesn't want a womb. He wants a division. He wants nails and orange makeup and long hair. And that stuff is going to kill you. It's going to take you into, if you didn't know what poverty was, date a slay queen. You will soon see you're not a man. She will show you you have nothing. Even your seed gets divided.
So, Gerald, you know what I normally say? I normally say, if a guy, I'm a coach. I hear people's problems all the time. So I normally would share, wherever. So normally a lot of women come to me and say, I helped this guy to build, and he was building and he was building. And then now the guy is built. And then all of a sudden, this guy left me for a slay queen. And I say to them, you know what? The problem is that you did not work on you did not work with this guy. You were building him. You became the mother. You became the savior. You became the guy's Jesus. And nobody wants a mother for a wife. So I always say, if you're gonna go out there, and I mean, slay queens look amazing. I mean, God bless slay queens. But you must make your own slay queens and slay queen in the house. You have something, yeah, work with it. You know, I'll show your wife what you prefer. I mean, look at the slay queen outside and let the one in the house be the one. So make your own slay queen if you can't afford one.
No, I totally agree. I think when you met your wife, you saw something. That thing you see must never disappear. When you see it disappearing, start running together. Go to the gym together. You know, it's unfair that when now you think you are a slay king with your mkaba, but you look at your wife and you say she's not as liquid. So it's about walk this journey together. Because if you do not walk this money journey together, ultimately it will lead to destruction. So unfortunately, I have to sign off. But my website is there, askgerald.co.za. Askgerald.co.za. Busi, David, will catch each other offline. This is just the beginning of a journey. I've also got on my website podcasts and lots of stuff on YouTube. You can start to get the knowledge you need. But money, there's the individual, there's the family, there's the relationship, there's the small business, there's the big business. There's so many things we can tackle and start talking about. But the most important thing is we need to understand our worth and our value. And then when we can start understanding our worth and value and how we fit into the world and accept ourselves for what we are and are humbled by the world, to realize that sometimes your humbling experience is to realize you've done nothing. You've worked 15 years and you have nothing. But from that moment, you can start building. The worst person is the one who carries on doing what they were doing, expecting a different result. It doesn't work that way. So I'd like to thank David and Sispus for the conversation. I just feel, look, we'll catch up. Probably we need to start this thing a bit earlier because there's children I need to put to bed. So next time we'll start a bit earlier so we can stretch it and really go in. Everybody who's been commenting, your voice counts for something. And we hope that even just by rewatching this, you can be stirred into thinking, what can I do? Don't run to someone who you think knows more than you, such that he knows so much more than you don't even know what they're doing. If you're in doubt, start with the basics. Go to the basics of what money was. Do chickens, do land. Africa has chickens. Africa has land. Africa has minerals. Stay there. At least those things, no one can confuse you with fully fungible assets, tradable, and all sorts of things you don't know where you're buying a container unit in Oregon, in the US. Have you ever been to Oregon? Have you ever been in an aeroplane? Yet you're buying a container in Oregon. Seriously? Anyway, good night and we'll catch up soon, guys.
Gerald, let me first say thank you so much, because I was introduced to you by someone right on this show, and that just blows my mind. Sort of a family friend, but I wasn't even aware he's watching the show. But the way this show has happened for me, it's another story altogether. It's another journey. It's another spiritual journey altogether. That
there's no accident in the spirit. Add Majorum Dei Gloriam, for the glory of God. Everything we do, let's remember our Maker.
Yes. Amen.
Thank you so much, Gerald. I'm so happy we met.
Let's catch up. Offline, we'll catch up.
Definitely. Yes. We're going to have secret lunches and then plan for these people. Wow. I mean, Busi, if you have to go, remember you asked me how long is the show, and I said I can't tell you.
Yeah, I can see ukuthi uvula umthandazo la
you are the one who decides how long is this episode that you are in, because
I think I love what you are doing, because some of these things we need to hear them for a long time for us to finally understand them. I mean, you asked me earlier, how did I get out of that mess? And what happened was I had to keep hearing the same thing over and over. I had to keep going back to say, who am I? Who am I? Why am I here? Why am I here? And the more I asked myself, why am I here? All of these things started to just spring up from nowhere, and it was like, oh, maybe you are this thing. And I would do something and people would say we get benefit from that, and I would be like, but how do they get benefit? Because I don't see myself making an effort to do this. So over and over, like we were saying earlier, personal development is the best thing ever. When you do personal development as a lifestyle, you will find you, but it's not a one-day job. You can't just wake up the next day and say, oh, now I've found my purpose. No. So like you say, for you to even get to, doing this show, definitely you have gone through so much.
No, it's and just from the silly topics we could be talking about on a Monday or Tuesday to where we find ourselves talking about guys who are struggling to have relationships with their fathers, to today where we are. And this thing has been at the back of my mind. I've always said I want to write a book, and more especially about my experiences, because I'm also not trying to say I know everything about money. But if there's one thing I know what not to do with it, because I've done some things with money.
Yeah. Oh, my goodness.
And they can only boil down to experience that one can share, that can be documented. And then if anybody wants to use the experience, they are welcome. If they don't want, and and they want to go through the same experience, then they can also do that, So I wanted, but I think you spoke about, both on the being single and being married. And I don't even want to ask how you ended up in 40 million, but I understand, And I think the community of property thing, maybe, I don't know if you mentioned it, but I know when I got married, you can imagine 12 years ago, if you said to a black woman, I want a prenup, or I'm not marrying you into community of property, For my wife, it was, I guess, we are not in this together, or we are not seeing this the way we're seeing it. Years later, I've taken so many risks in life. Now everyone is at risk. My wife is at risk, my children are at risk. And so what do you advise? Or what have you learned from all, the people that you've met and dealt with?
So for me, a pastor told me this. A pastor told me that I'm not going to go to heaven if I wasn't marrying in community of property. And I was like, okay. Then, they were like, that's how God wants it. You cannot marry any other way other than this. If a pastor tells you that, then you definitely, you cannot go against that. But, and now looking at what happened in my own life, I could have done better being out of community of property, because there could have been things that were maybe saved when all this fell apart. I could have actually made more, took more opportunities because I wasn't scared of messing up everything. Like it's like now I could have went and did this, but then I'm thinking, oh, I can't do that because what if then it fails? I wouldn't have the what if it fails if I was out of community. And the thing was that we were told that if a person marries you out of community, then they don't love you. So if they love you, they must marry you in community. But that is actually, they hate you because you don't know who you're marrying. You saw this person for I don't know how long, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, 5 months. And then you want to give this person all your entire life. I read and I found out why community of property was the thing. And most of the time, if you don't say at Home Affairs that you want anything else, they will give you community of property.
Yeah.
Yeah, because that setup serves the government. So when I got sequestrated, the business was in my name, but at that point, they were able to say, even whatever your husband has, we want it because whatever you have means that he has. Now, that was because they made it that way so that you do not come out alive at the end of the day. They get everything. But the out of community doesn't serve the government. So normally you'll find that even when you go for a divorce, people who are in community of property have more troubles than people who are out of community. People who are out of community can divorce quicker than people who are in community. So that serves the system to be in community of property, but you don't love the person enough or love yourself enough, I think, if you're going to go in community of property, because there are things that you can never do because they are part of it, and you don't want to risk too much, way too much. And when you do risk, you feel like, oh my goodness, maybe I'm going to kill another person. So being if you are single, being married is a good thing and you probably want to do it. But if you are going to get married, do not involve the money. The less money you involve in your marriage, the better. Now you can be responsible for your own money. You can say to a person, let's get married, I will buy the car, you buy the whatever, the chairs, and you can be responsible for your chairs. They can be responsible for whatever else they've bought. But then you can take all these things and put them together in one house and live together. So you don't have to buy all the chairs and the couches. The other person can buy the couches, the other person can buy the chairs, and then you share them together. That is the commonwealth we were talking about. But marrying in community of property, I don't think it's something that we should be even thinking about as young people at this time. We got into it and we didn't even know what we were doing. And anybody who knew about the out community, I knew about out of community, but it was like, you don't love the person, Jesus is not gonna love you anymore, and all these things. So I had to take it just because of those. But then it really got me, it really got me into trouble. I mean, 13 years later, I really wish that I wouldn't have done that. But then if you have a chance to I mean, I know people who have divorced and or went and changed their status, and it cost about 140 or 80,000 to change from community to out of community. And you have to
it cost 140.
It costs 140,000. You have to pay to come out of it. So I know some of my clients who had to do that, who had to come out of in community of property, and they have to pay that much. You pay the lawyers. It's a long process. It's like you can die and come back again, but you can't. You must pay them to get you out of that. So it is not an advisable thing. You really want to feel like you have control of your life and take care of yourself before you can be with another person and share with that person yourself. You must know yourself first. But then obviously, I mean, if you're marrying for other reasons and well, that makes it okay, then it's fine. But if you're just marrying to have a better life, rather do out of community, it's better.
So before I let you go, so I mean, I don't want to be unfair to you. I'm sure your husband wants his slave queen to be his bed just now. So now you're out of debt. You've paid off your house, your cars, the kids' education is taken care of. You're going on holidays. Where else do you put your money? Where else must Black people trust their money?
What I've seen is that a lot of people ask, why should I can't save. So not being able to save is one problem. It's another topic that we should definitely, it's a very spiritual thing, not being able to save, because when you can't save, it means that you have a lot of energy that has to do with lack, and that has just like a whole story that you need to work with. But when you do have money that you do not need to spend that month, it means like you had money left over. I have seen it in my life that it's important to put it in a bank account that, so a lot of people call this bank account an emergency fund. And I normally say, if you call it an emergency fund, don't be surprised when you get emergencies. It's because you are ready for them. Yes.
Yeah.
If you are prepared for emergencies, you're going to get them. So if you have an emergency fund, don't be surprised when your tire bursts and your fridge stop working. You have an emergency fund. The emergency is here for that purpose. But if you have an extra money or money that you're not using this month, what I have done with my family, we put it in an account called a freedom account. Now, this account means that we can be able to use this money for anything else that we want to use it for, which is a good thing, not the emergencies. We are not coming for emergencies. Emergencies should leave us alone. So you have an account where you put this extra money. But then what I normally do is that I buy something that will make me money. So like the other day, I was able to use that money, about probably 8,000. I bought my daughter a camera. Now she started a videography thing. I don't have to buy her hair anymore. I don't have to worry about whatever, because that money I invested in something that makes money. So I always do that. I always put my money into something that's going to make me money. So even if you have to buy an Uber car, even if you have to buy a car that can deliver a cent for people, but take your money and put it in something that can make money. And it mustn't be like, yes, it must. I know that you could put it in something that can save you money that you can get in 50 years. It's okay. But what I've noticed that if you want to build your wealth and build it in good flow and in good timing, is that use the little you have to buy something that makes you a little more. And then take that little more plus that other little more and buy something that makes you a little more. You will see that at some point you will have something that is called passive income. Income that you do not have to work for to earn at the end of the month. I mean, when COVID came, I did not get affected because I had those things in place that I had done over the years. Small things that are just there, that money comes from there. That money comes from there. And those things, they don't take a lot of money. 3,000, 2,000 can do a lot for you in terms of putting it in another thing that gives you money. Even if it's just selling something on Instagram, even if it's just, another lady that I coach, she makes this nice artwork for people for birthdays, and the family will write a letter for this person, and then she just makes it nice, look nice, and then people buy those things for about, I think, 200-300 rand. She makes a good 5,000 rand every month from those. So she invested a little bit. So I normally do that. I take my money and I put it into something that makes me money every month, and because it's small money and I can handle all of that, how it makes money and the money that it makes. Other than looking at the next thing will be to buy stocks. The next thing will be to invest in EFTs on the stock exchange. But I think that is a little bit extra, and you want to do that when you've done the basic correct and you got the basic correct.
No, I mean, it's definitely a topic we haven't had it. We pick on this subject, Black people and money, but we, for some reason, we are not where we could be or we should be after all these years. When we're in WhatsApp groups, when we talk about, guys, why are we not? Why aren't we? We're all there. By the way, all these people that are asking each other, why can't we? Why are we not? But something is not happening for some reason, where are we? Is it excitement? Like, we've had this show now 2 hours. When you leave, we're gonna start talking about sex and snacking and slay queen, and then we go to sleep. And then tomorrow I come on the show again and we talk about something else. What are we not doing?
We need to heal. It's healing, David. Talking and finding this information is good because it wakes you up. But once you are woke, you need to go and take a bath. So if you're not taking the bath, you can talk about all of it. You can talk about the dream that, oh, I was dreaming, I didn't know this. Now I'm awake. Yeah, you're awake because somebody has woken you up. Gerald has said something, Busi has said something, David has said something, you are woke. But you need to go and heal. So in South Africa, I mean, we had apartheid. Apartheid messed us up thoroughly because apartheid said our parents left us and they went to Joburg, and then which meant that we lost so much love and so much comfort. So we hate money, we hate white people, we hate all these things. We need to heal and know that white people can never finish our money.
Yeah.
They can try every day, but white people can never finish our money. White people can never finish us. We are the only ones who can allow them to finish us. We are the only ones who can say white people are standing in the way. So we need to heal. And I do every Saturday meditations on money and clearing the energy of money. I do them on a Facebook group called How to Manifest 100K. It's totally free every Saturday morning at 9 a.m. So anybody who wants to join there we do the healing. There we go to your younger self. There we go to your child wounds with money. We clear them up, because if you don't heal from these things, you're gonna talk a lot, but you're never gonna do anything. Procrastination is not that you don't know what to do or you don't know how to do it. It's because there's a blockage, there's an energy blockage. You need to clear that up. So I created that group, and everybody is welcome for free to come through and do the meditation every Saturday morning.
What's the name of the group?
The group is called How to Manifest 100K. How to Manifest 100K on Facebook.
Like that.
It has
like that.
Yeah. How to Manifest 100K.
And so morning.
Every Saturday morning at 9 a.m. If you did not make it, there's always recordings. You find it in the group, the meditation. So there we clear up the energy. You need to clear up. You need to take the bath. You need to let this go. Now that you are awoken, the more you are awake and you're not taking the bath, you're going to feel more bitterness, because you're going to keep talking about it and say, but now I know that we are black, we are not doing this. But then now I know we are black. Yeah, you know, so what? You need to let it go.
And let go of I used to do this, I had to pay school fees for the other one, and then now my money is gone. And, and I think naturally, when you no longer have money or whatever, then you start talking about how you used to have it, or what you used to do with it, and how you used to have it, and then you were doing this, and it's actually a trap, you know.
It takes you back, because it messes up your energy. So you are bitter now, you are regretful, all these emotions that are wrong. So you need to heal. There's no other way. We need to heal from things that we have done. We need to heal from things that our parents did, because our parents told us money doesn't grow from trees. You must work hard for money. We need to heal from those things. And then we need to heal from things that our ancestors did way back before we ever were here. So we need to heal from a lot.
Yeah. Wow, you said so much. Please, I put your store address here. I've put your social media. I hope people go and get the book. I know you sent me a link and you said they can read it, or people can read it online.
There's a link on Kindle and on Amazon. If you go on Amazon and you just type how Black people and money, money and Black people, you will see that it gives you a free chapter on my book, so you can read that for free. So on Amazon or Kindle.
Yeah. Oh, so that's amazing. Thank you so much.
Thank you
and
so
obviously much. Through your social media, people will be able to get hold of you, or
so
they can
on Instagram,
talk and stuff.
I've got an Instagram account where I post all the workshops. We're gonna have a feminine workshop on the 1st of August. It's from 9 to 5. It's on Zoom. So you can find the information on my Instagram page. And I also do energy clearing sessions. Those are 30 minutes. They are not coaching sessions, they are energy clearing sessions. So it's more on a spiritual level. So anybody who needs that, they can just contact me. There's contact details for my PA on those posters on Instagram. And also, if you need a coaching session where you want to get on to the next level of your life with your money, and maybe you want to start a business, maybe you want to start a new project, maybe you want to find your calling, so then the details are on my Instagram account. Yeah.
And is that at Busi Selesho? So your normal Instagram account, there isn't a separate one?
Yeah. Busi Selesho. All of my social media is at Busi Selesho. Yeah.
I think you answered so many questions. Thank you so much. And
Thank you for inviting me.
I'm speechless. I don't know what to
Yeah,
say.
no, that's totally amazing. So
And the combination between you and Gerald, I'm just mind blown.
yeah, no, you made that happen. Like, wow, how did you get that right? I totally enjoyed Gerald.
And I swear, next time I'm calling you, you must know there's money. Whether it's 100 rand or 500 rand or one, I don't know. But next time I call you,
you
you must definitely know that there's
you
going
you
to be money.
the funny thing, when David, is that I have work that I must do for free. And sometimes it's so hard for me to find places to do that work, because I really want to do it in a place where I enjoy it. I don't want to do it
Yes,
just because I might do it. So
yes.
when you called me, I was like, okay, there is that type of thing. So I have work that I must do for free. So, but obviously, if you want to give me money, I will never say no, David.
No, never. You can't. You
But
can't.
I have a space for that. So anybody else who want to invite me into whatever, please do invite me when I have time. And I always have work that I need to do for free. That is part of my calling, that I need to do that. So do let me know if you want to invite me. My Instagram is available. Send me an inbox or anything, and I will tell you when I'm available. I will tell you when I'm not. Just keep asking. It's all good.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. And thank your husband, please. And I'm sure
I
Gerald,
will.
thank your wife for me and the
Thank
kids.
you.
And I appreciate your time. I mean, it's midnight,
Yeah.
and I can't
No,
say
I'm
thank
not a
you.
morning person. I'm an evening person. So my energy is up in these times.
Now you're up. Yeah. Now you're up.
Yeah, now it's my time.
Oh,
Thank
it's
you
my
so
daughter's
much.
birthday right now, actually. Oh, I forgot.
Oh, that is
Yeah,
so
yeah.
nice. Wow.
18th July.
Wow.
Yeah, and Samuel's on the show. So thank you so much.
Thank you
I
so much.
really,
Thank you so much, everyone who joined in and who watched this. And I hope you guys get so much money, because, hey, there's so much money out there, guys. We just need to go and allow it to happen.
yeah, we must just be ready for it and go wash ourselves and be clean.
Yes, definitely. We need to let go. The quicker we do that, the better. Thank you so
Thank
much,
you.
David.
I appreciate it.
Have a
Thank you.
good evening. I'm gonna leave, and I hope I'm clicking the right button.
Okay. Yo, guys, this was a fire show, guys. I don't want to spoil it. I'm gonna end it here. Um, this was just too much. Let's go back. Oh, Alia. Oh wow, she's passed out. Guys, thank you so much. I'm literally saying thank you, thank you. I'm wrapping up. Some of you wouldn't be say things to your wife, to your husband, so that you don't really say things. Uh, Tonight was just awesome. Thanks to my friend Karabo who suggested to see picking up the details with the call. Thanks to another leader here who suggested the digital. What an awesome guy. Guys, we get to be with you. Guys, this show was true. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. All right. Thanks, guys. I'm gonna let you go. Happy birthday to my daughter, Aliyah. Who's Pastor, Pastor, trying to so you can sing happy birthday. Apparently, you guys can hear me, so I guess also this weird sound issue is coming up. The internet has been acting out for 2 days, and data, and my mobile data. It's, yeah, so watching the speaker. No, guys, the show is over. Happy birthday to my baby girl. And yeah, someone else is saying they can't hear me. Sounds bad. Okay, thank you guys. Let me just write. Fine. Right, guys. Thank you very much.